had to bring some water because this might be a little lengthy, so bear with me. Good morning, and thank you for taking the time to attend this press conference. The reason I've asked you here today is to bring some much needed clarity to all the concerned citizens of Augusta County. Since my campaign began, I strive to share with the voters my reason for seeking the office of sheriff. During this campaign, I believe I have conveyed a clear message, and my vision for the future of Augusta County Sheriff's Office is exceptional. However, over the past month, my campaign has been consumed by the controversy and questions surrounding Sheriff Donald Smith. I realize that, as his opponent, I will have to field many questions regarding the state of the department and his style of management and leadership. The questions and concerns raised by the citizens of this county over the recent controversy has brought to light many unanswered questions and has simply fueled more misrepresentation than fact. As a 27-year public servant and a professional of criminal justice, transparency is everything, especially in matters such as these. I believe that our citizens should be well informed on the facts rather than rumors and whisper campaigns. In fact, during my long tenure in this profession, honesty is the only policy. Being forthcoming and transparent with the citizens of Augusta County is paramount. As a law enforcement officer endowed with the public's trust, it is my duty to respond to every citizen with factual and accurate information. Being a candidate for public office requires me to exercise that duty specifically, regardless of the nature of the issue at hand. It has been said within the last week that I refuse to comment on this controversy surrounding Sheriff Donald Smith, and this is inaccurate. I cannot and will not respond until I know all the facts. I have purposely sought out the facts contained within this case, and today I'm prepared to speak to it. Now, having all the facts, it affords me the opportunity to speak the truth instead of rumor. The way to fix a problem is to first identify that you have one. Following many conversations with citizens of Augusta County and the recent flood of media information surrounding our sheriff and his previous interactions with the Department of Justice and the defendant within that case, it certainly appears we have a problem. Today, I intend to bring clarity to those questions asked of me by the citizens of our great county. The following information represents the facts and only the facts, thus putting the rumors and misinformation to rest. I am doing this for the purpose of eliminating this distraction from my campaign for bid of office. It is my desire here today to bring closure regarding to this matter and its rumored connection to the Kester campaign. This issue needs to be resolved in the Smith campaign where it should have remained. However, since Sheriff Smith released the video on the official Sheriff's Office official Facebook page, it has been embellished to be a smear campaign. This is simply false and inaccurate. Smith is merely deflecting responsibility of his own actions and reducing himself to open slander. This behavior will not be tolerated by me, nor should it be tolerated by the people of Augusta County. This morning I intend to officially address this matter, and at the conclusion of this address, I intend to continue my campaign to be your next sheriff. I would prefer to spend the balance of this campaign focusing on ways I will improve Augusta County Sheriff's Office, bringing back the transparency and integrity of the agency, and partnering with our sister agencies to keep our community safe. securing our schools, promoting community involvement, and instructing the men and women of my department that it's just as important to be an officer of the peace as it is an officer of the law. Together, my office will ensure accountability to all citizens on the matters provide them with premier state accredited Virginia law enforcement agency second to none. So let me begin. First, I will start with the question I received more times than one can count. Am I responsible for the ads that bring to light the details surrounding Sheriff Smith's relationship and interactions with Felix Chewjoy? Let me be very clear. I did not have anything to do with these accusations towards Smith, nor was it authorized by my campaign for anyone to do this on my behalf. In fact, Smith himself, in a public statement dated August 22nd, 2019, in the Stanton News Leader, said he does not believe I was personally involved in this, and I appreciate his acknowledgement of that fact. Along these same lines, there have been accusations that my campaign is conspiring with the folks at Nexus. This is absolutely false. I have not spoken with or received any financial contributions from Nexus, nor am I working with them in any way. Again, I am setting the record straight once and for all. I assure every citizen of this county I did not have anything to do with the allegations pertaining to Donald Smith, nor am I conspiring in any way, shape, or form to bring to light this situation involving Sheriff Smith and Felix Chewjoy. I am not partnering or supporting any faction or private entity, including Nexus, to do the same. Now, having said that, the accusations towards Sheriff Smith that have been made public are very serious. I would be remiss if I said they do not concern me, because they certainly do. In absolutely fairness and the need to speak the truth and dispel the rumors, I felt I needed to confirm the validity of the claims before speaking out one way or the other. On September 18th, I personally went to the federal courthouse in Harrisonburg to obtain certified copies of the transcripts and the recordings that had been circulating on social media pertaining to Donald Smith and Felix Chewjoy. I have spent significant time reviewing the court records personally. In my inquiry, I have found that the jail calls and federal transcripts are indeed authentic and credible. In order to be transparent and fair, I have a binder here with certified copies of those documents available for the media or anyone else that would like to review the documents. My statements regarding Donald Smith are not intended to be derogatory, but rather investigatory. These facts are facts, and this is evident by certified documents in the packet available to you by my campaign this morning. As law enforcement officers, we present the facts, therefore I will not judge Mr. Smith. However, I do believe the citizens of Augusta County deserve to know what our sheriff is doing and the circumstances regarding his decision making. When I am elected sheriff, I will ensure transparency within my office and my employees. When issues arise, rest assured I will have answers for the citizens, thus we must expect the same now from Sheriff Smith. The ultimate question for the citizens of Augusta County is, shouldn't we be worried less about who uncovered these facts about Donald Smith and be more worried about Donald Smith's unethical behavior while entrusted by the public to uphold the law? Despite a sheriff's race or whom you plan to vote for, there have been very serious accusations towards Smith that have been proven by court documents. According to federal records, these are the facts about Donald Smith's unethical behavior. Befriending a man charged with human trafficking, Felix Chewjoy. Knowingly accepting Chewjoy's personal calls from jail when Smith knew Chewjoy was using other inmates' PIN number to avoid detection of the calls. Smith says he didn't hear the other inmate's name at the beginning of the call because he was working on the farm. But let us recall, Chewjoy called Smith on 9 separate occasions. Smith didn't hear anyone else's name at the beginning of those calls 9 different times. allowing Chewjoy to visit Smith's home immediately after being released from jail to use a family member's cell phone to intimidate witnesses. And then, once confronted about everything, lying to the public about telling federal authorities everything he knew, only to discover later through verified phone calls, Smith in fact withheld information from federal authorities to protect his friend. More recently, 100 charges had to be dropped in a child pornography case involving 20,000 graphic child pornography pictures. All because a search warrant was not obtained, and these young children never got justice. This is an outrage for any parent and is totally unacceptable. What if your child or grandchild are one of those 20,000 pictures? We need a sheriff that is more concerned with upholding the law and protecting the families of Augusta County than following his own interests, which is sullying the reputation of his department. These facts speak highly inappropriate and disturbing behavior by anyone, much less the sheriff of our county. Are we allowing ourselves to become more focused on the whodunit related to the ad and shying away from the real issues? In fact, if we want to explore the appropriateness of what we should expect in our sheriff, on page 205 of the federal transcripts here, where Donald Smith is being questioned by federal prosecutor Ms. Carlton. Ms. Carlton asked Smith if he had continued communication with Chewjoy following his arrest on human trafficking charges. Donald Smith responds that yes, he has had continued contact, but limited contact. When Ms. Carlton asked Smith why limited contact, Smith explains that it's hard for him to be involved with everything that's going on because he's a law enforcement officer. Admittedly, Smith knew that continued involvement with Mr. Chewjoy was inappropriate, and yet he continued to do so then, and he continues to do so now. Only weeks ago, more information came to light that the same Felix Chewjoy, who was charged with human trafficking and was also charged this time in Stanton City in 2012 with solicitation of sex with a 14-year-old boy. Again, doing my due diligence, I confirmed these court records with Chewjoy. Even though he was not found guilty due to technicality, Judge Franklin outlined in a written statement that Chewjoy's intent with the 14-year-old boy was very obvious. These new revelations, again proven through court records available for anyone to see, as well as included in this binder, confirm Donald Smith, current sheriff of Augusta County, continues to befriend a man who was fairly charged with human trafficking, who is also now an alleged child predator. In fact, Mr. Chewjoy himself confirmed recently that Donald Smith allowed him to use his personal vehicle just a few short weeks ago. Clearly, the two remain close friends, and my ultimate concern, and I feel the concern of every citizen of Augusta County, is where does Donald Smith's loyalty lie? He has proven throughout trafficking case with Chewjoy that his loyalty lies with a man who was charged with human trafficking and solicitation of a 14-year-old boy, rather than disconnecting him and disobeying Chewjoy's unacceptable and immoral behavior. This is simply not acceptable to me, and should not be acceptable to any citizen of Augusta County. We deserve better, and we must demand better. None of this was intended to be mudslinging, and I have ensured to stick to the factual information throughout this press conference. For anyone to say this is not factual information is incorrect, and they are either trying to minimize the serious allegations before our current sheriff, or they blatantly are lying to protect Smith. As more and more information has come to light over the past few weeks, I've asked myself if these are the things we know now, how much is out there that we don't know? I encourage every citizen to investigate the allegations against Donald Smith and see for themselves the facts surrounding Smith's behaviors. Having provided you with the factual findings within my inquiry, I'm going to continue to run a positive campaign which highlights my platform, and I promise to run the Augusta County Sheriff's Office with honesty, integrity, transparency, and ethics which the citizens of Augusta County deserve. Thank you. I will take any questions from the media. We got about 5 minutes.
Mr. Kessler, I know you said that you want to move on, but more and more stuff has come to light. I have more stuff that I'm going to be exposing with the sheriff. And I reviewed all the cases in Stanton City in the last 10 years where a defendant was charged with computer solicitation of a minor for sex. Out of 40 of those cases, 39 of those resulted in a guilty verdict. Only Chewjoy was not held accountable. However, some of those cases have chat logs with far less explicit content than the ones that Chewjoy had with the officer that he thought was a 14-year-old boy. Are you concerned that Smith, a law enforcement officer at the time, may have used his position to help Chewjoy escape conviction? And what policies will you enact as the sheriff to ensure that the kids in Augusta County are safe from sexual predators?
So far as the first part of that question, I can't answer that because I don't know. I don't know the facts enough to point the finger at Sheriff Smith so far as that case. However, we do know in a statement that he provided that in 2010 that he befriended Felix Chewjoy and they became close. So far as protecting the kids of this community, I've been married for 10 years and I got a 4-year-old son myself. He starts public schools next year. So the safety of this community means a lot to me. One of the things I want to do so far as the safety to protect the kids, bullying is a major issue that we've got to tackle, and I've got a plan to help tackle that. And part of that plan that we'll talk, and I'll tell you about, is to initiate a hotline where these children or the parents of these children that are being bullied can actually call this number right away. They don't have to wait till the next day at 8 o'clock before school opens or they get somebody from the sheriff's office. They can call this number right away. Also, I think to protect these children, we have to have more school resource officers in our schools, and this is totally unacceptable. I mean, 20,000 child pornography pictures and over 100 charges dismissed because a search warrant was not obtained. I'm sorry, but that's law enforcement 101. Everybody in this room knows before you start pulling off files from a hard drive, you must have a search warrant. That will not happen under my administration. I'll make sure of it. Thank you. Anybody else?
So what would you like the sheriff to do? You said that this raises concerns for you. What would you like him to do?
I'd like for him to address the questions that the citizens have and that I have. Why is he still befriending this known criminal? Why has he not come forward to be transparent to the citizens of Augusta County? What else do we not know that we need to know?
The large ads that had Sheriff Smith and say human trafficking, is that endorsed by your campaign?
Absolutely not.
Just another question. Some people are citing Smith's privacy as a reason to tread lightly when asking questions about Chewjoy. Do you believe it's the people's business who the sheriff is in a relationship with, a personal relationship, or more? Do you think it's the people's business of an elected official?
Interfering with his duty as being sheriff of Augusta County, absolutely.
And can you tell us a little bit about your partner? Has she ever been convicted of any heinous crimes or anything like that?
Actually, my wife is here, and if you'd like to ask her directly, now she's a little shy, but I will speak for her because she will get me after this. I'm sure.
I have a speeding ticket for 20 years for that.
Speeding ticket.
And she still has to drive with an adult every time. No, my wife she works human resources at JMU, so she has a very good job, and obviously she wouldn't hold that position if she had a criminal background.
Has Scott Klein worked for your campaign in either an official or unofficial capacity because his phone number was tied to the ad that ran in the News Leader?
He was actually a volunteer with my campaign as long as with other campaigns. He is no longer part of my campaign whatsoever.
Did you ask him to leave, or did he leave on his own accord, or can you?
It was mutual. thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. This obviously shows that there is concern here with the citizens of Augusta County. I want to thank the media for coming. And if there's any further questions on down the line, if something else comes available, you're more than welcome to these binders. It talks about everything that we talked about today. My business card's there with my contact information. So feel free to contact me at any time. Thank you.